Hi folks, it's Christine here with Hokema Sewing and Vacuum, and today we're going to talk about marking tools. And there's a lot of them, and I don't even have them all here. But I want to show you what we do have, and it's just a sampling, and talk a little bit about the way we use them. The first one I'm going to show you is the one that has probably been around the longest, and that is Taylor's Chalk. This comes in a couple of different forms. I have two here. This is a Taylor's Triangle. And this is really nice and crisp. You can see how thin that is. We're going to use this to mark things like darts on our clothing. Things that you can mark it directly on the person because it's not going to hurt. So that's really handy to do. And you know that's important if you do any clothing because where the manufacturer puts the darts may not be where your girls need the darts. Okay, so that's what we have going on here. We also have another form of Taylor's Chalk, and this one comes in a package like this. Now, Melissa really likes using these when she's marking waxed canvas for bags. This is one of her preferred tools. Both of these are under $5. This one's a little cheaper than this one because this one's plastic cased, but they are inexpensive tools. Not everything we use in sewing has to cost an arm and a leg. So I'm going to talk about that. That's chalk. Then we have other forms of chalk as well. I have chalk that are in chalk pens. These have refills that we just screw onto the top. This actually gives a really nice fine line as well. Now, the way this chalk is categorized is by how we remove it. And you need to pay attention to that because if you try to remove it in the wrong way, you may actually set it. And it can also be, there are some of these that are iron off. So if you are marking something with this and you know you're going to have to mark it a couple of times before you're ready to remove it, might not be the best choice. However, here's the other part of that. Some water solubles become permanent if you iron them. So make sure that you read the packaging on whatever tools you are choosing. Okay? So this, by the way, comes in many different colors. It comes in a white, a yellow, a silver, and I think a blue. And that's what we carry here in the shop. Okay, we also have the refills. Then we also have chalk that comes in a pounce. Now, when you see it in the package initially, and these do have refills as far as the chalk portion goes, you'll see that it'll come with chalk. The chalk might be blue, it might be pink, or it would be white. Okay, and then what you do is you open this up, and I'm not going to do that because that's a little bit of a struggle sometimes. A butter knife will help. You pull this out, fill this with chalk. You're going to pounce it a couple of times. Then you can open it up, and you've got chalk on the spongy pounce portion, and you're just going to use this with a stencil. And so this is a stencil, one of many that we have here in the shop. And then you're just going to brush across that on your fabric, and it will leave the pattern. Now, if you are like me and you're using this on a long arm, you may want to set that a little bit so it doesn't bounce off by the time you get to the next portion of your design. And so what I use for that is hairspray. It's a tip I got from Danny Schober years ago. I use it quite a bit. And then when you're all done, I just take a damp rag to it, and it takes the hairspray off enough to get rid of the chalk. So just a little tip there. We also have a marking pencil. These come in a couple of different options as well. One I forgot to grab as well is a Frixion pen. That's designed to be removed with, it's in the name, friction, with heat. Okay, so we have those in many different colors. I will tell you, all of these, especially the ones that are ink-based, make sure you test it on a corner of your fabric first so that you make sure that the dyes in the fabric don't react with the ingredients of the pen. Most of the time it's 100% safe, but you don't want to be that 2% that isn't and find out after you've done all the work on a beautiful quilt. So make sure you test first, okay? We have, this is another water soluble. This pen is water soluble. I also have a pen here that's water soluble and air soluble, which means with time and just exposure to the air, it's going to go away. It's going to evaporate. So this is something you would use if you're only going to mark it for just a little bit of time. The other thing I want to kind of warn you about is once you have marked your quilt, get busy quilting. Don't fold it up and let it be years in the closet because some of these over time can interact with the dyes in the cloth and whatnot and become more permanent or do what we call shadowing. So mark the part that you plan on working on, and then mark the next part the next time you're coming back to your project, rather than marking the whole quilt and then risking it having life happening and it having to be tucked away for a little bit. Then I have a couple of other pins here, excuse me, and these are permanent pins. These are what you're going to use to maybe make a label for your quilt or to sign your quilt on the back if you'd like. The reason I'm showing you these is because in some cases they don't look a whole lot different than some of the other tools that I've shown you. Make sure you store your permanent marking things away from your not permanent marking things. I cannot tell you the number of times I have grabbed a regular ballpoint pen thinking I was grabbing one of these and didn't realize it till I went to remove it. Okay? So pay attention to that, especially with the Frixon pens. It's really easy to get them confused with a regular pen. That's all I've got for you today. These are all available here in the shop. If you have any more questions about any of these, please come see us. Happy to answer questions. Hey, look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.